Hello and welcome back to the Vtcc Virtual Touring Car Championship. For this, the penultimate round at Sportsland Sugo. Last race at Brands Hatch, we will remember that JP McKinley had some issues both wheel-wise and internet-wise, which really closed the gap up in the Drivers' Championship. This race, round 7, will be taking place at the Japanese circuit of Sportsland Sugo. Next week, we will be back for Donington Park, the GP circuit, for the ultimate round of the season, which at this current time, as far as I am aware, nobody can clinch the title in the AM lobby until that round. So it will be a championship fight going down to the last round. Here are the Drivers' Championship standings. In the lead, we have JP McKinley for Celtic Romance at 211 points. Behind him is his teammate, Kiki Mack, on 209. A 2-point gap separating the two drivers. Third place, Chris Callahan, 26 points behind JP McKinley at 185 points. Andrew Whitehead soon after at 165. Finley Swarbrick, P5, 148 points. Matt Webb, P6, 140. Tied with McRae Williams, also at 140 points. Carl Alden in P8 with 134. Alice Hughes in P9 with 115. Adam Bent, P10 with 110 points. That wraps up the top 10 of the season for the AM lobby. I'm getting tagged in Discord, which doesn't help. Here are the cars that we will be seeing out on track today. Some updates to the livery pack came in. Tobias Eriksson now having a skin for Team K4TO. Also 2 new cars I think I haven't noticed have been Thomas Dickens, also Go For It Racing, Curry Budut for Fonseca Miller Racing. There's probably a few more here that I haven't noticed, some updates as well. I apologise. If you're wondering about the people who also stream, we have Finley Swarbrick, Kev Straw and Kiki Mack, all part of the AM lobby, I believe. The links are there. Also Aaron Large, who is in the Pro lobby, if you want to go and watch that instead of watching me. Here is how the season works. Obviously, this is a touring car series run on Project Cars 2, the simulator for the PC. 8 events over 11 weeks. We are at round 7, so almost time there. 3 15-minute races per event can be run. The exception was Bannock Bray, which was an hour-long race. That has been and gone. Pro-Am class has been split. Obviously, this is the AM lobby. King Kodiak streams the Pro lobby. Live stream commentary. Hello. So, we have already gone down to the track. I just need to make sure that my stream is running. We're now going to turn on the audio and go down to the circuit for qualifying, I believe we're at. So currently 15 cars on the grid. Doodle Pleb. Who? Sorry, I have to always check back to my spotters guide occasionally as well. This is the number what? I'll see a number eventually. Number 99 car, which is driven by... Yes. I'm not 100% sure. Actually. They also have Adam Davies, Team Viper, number 12, BMW. Is our championship leader on the grid? Yep, here is... he's not a champion. Wait, is he, I think? I'm not 100% sure. Well, here is Kiki Mack, one of the Celtic Romance drivers. Second place in the drivers' standings, 2 points behind his teammate JP McKinley, which is here, the number 7 Celtic Romance machine. Had quite a few issues at the last race at Brands Hatch, as I had said previously. I think he finished one of the races, and even then he had some issues with internet and wheel issues, I believe, which really closed the gap between himself and his teammate. It's going to be very close between these two. While they are teammates, they are definitely 2 drivers who really do enjoy battling wheel to wheel against each other. we could see some amazing racing from everyone up the grid tonight. Sportsline Sugo being an unfamiliar track for quite a few drivers, I believe. Has some undulation, has a really painful corner for the front left tyre, as we're seeing JP McKinley go through now. Some of these cars being front wheel drive, I'm sure the tyres will be screaming as they go through here. Here is Tobias Eriksson getting his own livery now. Obviously he's been running one of the blank liveries, I believe, for a little while. Here he is. I think that's Swedish Racing Green. Very Swedish. Number 13 car. Not had a very good season in terms of results, but definitely a driver who has been improving. Let's hope that we can see much of the same from him tonight. More improvement. Definitely going to be a driver to watch in the next season. Chris Callahan also behind him on the track. Only P3 in the driver's standings. 26 points behind JP McKinley. And not many points separating him from Kiki Mack either. 24 points separating the two drivers. The times have already come in now. A lot of drivers have finished their first laps. JP McKinley, Kiki Mack currently in P1 with a 124.9. Gaz Cooper Motorsport is Gary Cooper, number 76. Going through P2 at 125.042. He's been a pro driver who's been bumped down. I believe he has been. JP McKinley, P3 of a 125.427. Followed by Alice Hughes, the TCS McGann, 125.742. Chris Callahan, P5 of 126.679. Oh. Doodle Pleb, who I'm going to call Doodle from now on because Twitch does not like some words. Going through now to take P5 with a 126.1. Only 99 car. Oh, it's an AM car. So the rundown as it currently stands. Kiki Mack first place, followed by Gary Cooper, JP McKinley, Alice Hughes, Doodle, Chris Callahan. Mad May 503, number 48 car, who is Byron Zimban. Chris Callahan, P7. Matt Webb in P8. Ed Cooper in 10th. Adam Bent in 11th. Colin Dunn in 12th, Tobias Eriksson 13th, Trev Hummer in 14th, and Adam Viper in 16th so far. Andrew Whitehead has also just jumped into the server. 8 minutes remaining on qualifying the Boosted Motorsport BMW. We're now going to do a couple of onboard runs with Kiki Mack. See how he takes the corners on this track. You can already hear the tyres having a lot of unhappiness. While we take this lap, I'm going to go quickly grab a drink so my voice stays alive. we have returned. JP McKinley having moved up to P3. I think from the look of it, the time screen looks much the same. Remember, I am reading the Twitch chat as time goes on. I will check back to it as much as possible. So if you want to have a little bit of a discussion with me, you know, back and forth like tennis, then put a message in the Twitch chat. During qualifying, there isn't really much that I can say, to be fair. Here's McRae Williams in the number 56 car. Quite anime style livery here by the fact that it's absolutely covered in anime. An anime that I don't know because I don't watch anime. Another Megane. The Megane always... Well, the Megane does seem to be the most popular car in the season so far. So it's going to be very interesting to see if the Megane still reigns supreme here. Which, due to the sheer numbers, they might. Oh, there's the car having pulled over. Quickly check the stream strength, and I don't have to do anything else with it. Hooray! Everything is working as intended. That's very good for me. So yes, Sportsland Sugo. Where's Ocon? There is no Ocon, my bad. No Ocon. But yes, Sportsland Sugo. If people aren't aware of the track, I will quickly throw up the track map. There is the track map. As you can see, got a very tight first corner. And it's actually a double corner, which then leads into a downhill left-hander, into an uphill left-hander, into a chicane, into a right-hander, into another right-hander, into a very long straight, into a slightly banked right-hander, into a left-hander, which then becomes another left-hander, which then also goes down a hill, which then leads you into this very long right-hander that makes your tyres want to cry. Currently the timing screen, Vicky Mac in P1, Gaz Cooper in second, JP McKinley third, Alex Hughes fifth, Chris Callahan fifth, Doodle in sixth, Matt Webb in seventh, Byron Zimmerman in eighth, Alan Bent in ninth, McRae Williams 10th, Colin Dunn 11th, Trev Hummer 12th, Ted Cooper 13th, 14th is Carl Alden, 15th Tobias Eriksson, 16th Andrew Whitehead, and 17th Adam Viper. That rounds off the grid as it currently stands with 2 minutes 19 seconds remaining in qualifying. This corner looks so painful for the tyres. As we come over the not Dunlop Bridge. We'll call it the Yokohama Bridge for today. So there's going to be, I think, 2 flying laps left for drivers who are going to cross the finish line about now. For other drivers, they might get 1 more lap. Very interesting to see how this race plays out. A track that's unfamiliar to a lot of drivers. Obviously this kind of racing in the touring cars, a lot of the cars are quite close together for quite a long time. Lap 1 having some very tight corners, especially the chicane of turn 4 and 5, or 5 and 6 depending on how you count it. So I expect we might see some contact. Keep in mind as well, the 2 Celtic Romance brothers, also Chris Callahan, currently P5, they're all in the top 3 of the championship and are fighting for the title. In reality, think about the top 4 might be fighting for the title, being JP McKinley, Kiki Mack, Chris Callahan, Andrew Whitehead. But this title cannot be clinched by any driver at this race, apparently, according to news. So this race is going to be a case of the top 3 drivers wanting to get the best footing they can to go to Donington and have an easier time of themselves. The last thing you want in a final race fight is to have to finish first. Especially if you're close in terms of pace with the other drivers. We will be having interviews as well tonight. Typically this will be the top 3 drivers of each race, followed by a group of people after the last race. So the qualifying is over. 104 seconds now for drivers to make their way back to the start finish line. Here is Kiki Mack, the Celtic Bromance driver, number 77. Absolutely smacking that rev limiter. Poor engine. Just be screaming. You just see how much the back of the car gets out around these corners. You can also see how quick Project Cars 2 removes the level of detail for the wheels. Is Kiki Mack going to extend his lead? No, he's not. Final few drivers now coming through the line. Alice Hughes going to extend their lead. No, remains P4 at this current moment in time. Provisional P4. McRae Williams has finished. I think quite a few drivers have now finished. Yep. Oh, thank you for the Prime sub, Doodle. What's your name? You're not on my spotter's guide. Not on the spotter's guide. What do I call you? Oh, you're Finley. Right. Okay. God damn. Right, yep. You're at the last race. Oh, jeez. So, once I regain my composure, Kiki Mack coming through in first place for qualifying, followed by Gary Cooper, JP McKinley P3, Alex Hughes in 4th, Chris Callahan in 5th, Finley Swarbrick in 6th, Matt Webb 7th, 8th place Adam Bent, 9th McRae Williams, 10th Colin Dunn, 11th Trev Hummer, 12th Ed Cooper, 13th Carl Alden, 14th Tobias Eriksson, 15th Andrew Whitehead, and 16th Adam Viper. We're now just going to wait for the lobby to switch to the race. I am a psychic. Oh, here we go. I'm not sure where the best camera angle is going to be for turn 1. It's normally around mid-pack. That seems to grab everyone. So, because we've got 16 cars, we'll literally go P7. Mid-pack enough. So, the first 15-minute race will soon be underway. All of the drivers lined up. We soon are going to hear... Well, we're soon going to see sinking, and then we will see the lights. There we go. So here we are sinking. And we're away. Good start from Gary Cooper. 2 wide through the first corner as the pack comes through. Someone's been spun. That's Ted Cooper. Looked like he had a bit of contact with Andrew Whitehead. Gary Cooper, however, has come into the lead. The 2 Celtic Bromance drivers now fighting each other. Kiki Mack leading his teammate JP McKinley. Chris Callahan before Alice Hughes having some issues, diving off the track, almost collecting the wall. As we look further down the grid, Colin Dunn on the back of McRae Williams, drops back a little bit though as we come down the straight. Someone goes off behind. That looks like it was also Ted Cooper getting spun into the first corner. Probably not what he wanted to have happen. McRae Williams going completely up the inside. Takes out many drivers. Oh dear. I am not... How many people was that? McRae Williams. Finley Swarbrick, the number 9 car. Trev Hummer. Colin Dunn. Oh dear, that was... Looked like a bit of a dive from McRae Williams, taking out many drivers. Now come across the line, the timing screen should fix itself. No penalties at this current moment in time. I'm sure that the stewards will probably have something to say about McRae Williams taking a dive up the inside there. Kiki Mack now on the back of Gary Cooper. McGann versus McGann. Driver versus driver. Gary Cooper, I think, having moved down from the pro lobby to be with us. The two Celtic Romance cars having been very dominant this season, along with Chris Callahan and a few other drivers as well, namely, to actually come through and challenge the two. And clearly it seems like the number 76 car of Ted Cooper Motorsport is very much now bringing the challenge to Finley Swarbrick and Kiki Mack. Colin Dunn having gotten a penalty, a 1 second penalty. I'm sure that's for probably track limit. Here we see Matt Webb on the back of Chris Callahan with Alice Hughes behind. Looks like might be under attack from Alice Hughes. Soon. Look down the grid. Ted Cooper. And off the track. Might be a penalty there. Carl Alden having gotten caught up in that collision by a spinning car. I think it was a spinning Tobias Eriksson that caught him, completely evict him in that collision. Now on the back of Trev Hummer's BMW, the number 6 car. Number 6 car versus number 9 car. There's an innuendo there somewhere that I'm not going to make. Here we go up the inside into turn 1. Both cars having got caught out in that earlier collision. You can see damage to the front of Trev Hummer's BMW and damage to the rear and front of Carl Alden's McGann. Ted Cooper now under pressure from McRae Williams. Well, as we're going to switch back to the battle up front, the camera is having a bit of unhappiness trying to figure out where JP McKinley actually is. Kiki Mack still chasing down the back of that red number 76 Ted Cooper Motorsport machine. Much going to be a battle to the end between these two drivers, I believe. Andrew Whitehead also gaining on Adam Bent. BMW versus McGann, rear wheel versus front wheel drive. For the last corner, we'll see if he can do anything up the straight. Getting the very minor slipstream that these cars do offer. Comes out the outside. Adam Bent defends the position down the straight, putting his car squarely for the inside line. Let's see if Andrew Whitehead can do anything. Not as yet, however, seems like the gap has shrunk down by quite a bit. Timing screen having had some unhappiness with lap timing. Andrew Whitehead going quite wide through that corner. Apparently a 3-car battle going down here. McRae Williams, I think the starter of that collision into the right-hander at the end of the straight. And bunched up, I think, some of the mid-pack actually to the rear of the pack now. Oh, as Carl Alden has a bit of an issue. Did he get touched by Tobias Eriksson? There, I've seen the back of the car got a bit loose. Maybe a ping issue. That BMW having lost one of the rear lights. I'm safe. We come down to the straight now. McRae Williams chasing down the back of Carl Alden. Here is the corner where that big collision did occur. I think thankfully enough runoff to allow drivers to not collect the wall on the outside. Andrew Whitehead still fighting Adam Bent. Goes to the outside this time. Is he going to have the speed and the overlap? The move has been done, but he's not going to get the inside line, I don't think. Gets ahead of Adam Bent. So Andrew Whitehead moves up to P7. However, Adam Bent, I think, isn't going to take this one standing. Take this one sitting, I think the word is I'm looking for here. Well done, me. And Bent, the number 69 car, the Send It Motorsport vehicle. Still chasing that BMW. Colin Dunn also fighting onto the back of Finley Swarbrick. I think a driver who was also collected by that collision on lap 1. We have 8 minutes remaining. Kiki Max still very much on the back of this Cooper Motorsports machine driven by Gary Cooper. Number 76 car, Ted Cooper. However, I think a bit further down the grid, maybe DNF'd. I think Ted Cooper has DNF'd this race. Leaving just Gary Cooper running. We're down to 15 cars as we cross the line with 7.5 minutes approximately remaining. Finley Swarbrick now having caught up to the back of Adam Viper, the BMW being sort of in no man's land. Complete mid-pack. Without really a car in front or a car behind. I also just noticed that Finley Swarbrick is a 95 car. Why did I read that as a 99 car? I'm an idiot, I think is the word that I'm looking for. Finley Swarbrick also having Colin Dunn on the rear. Chris Callahan also chasing down JP McKinley. Actually, the Celtic Romance car being chased down by the Falcon Racing machine, the number 49 machine. Kiki Mack having dropped around a second now behind Gary Cooper. Carl Alden under attack from McRae Williams. Also chasing down the back of Tobias Eriksson. 6 minutes remaining on the clock. Finley Swarbrick having been overtaken by Colin Dunn as well. Not sure when that quite happened, but he will now be chasing the rear of that blue and green Megane. Adam Bent still trying to chase down the rear end of the Boosted Motorsports BMW. There's also a penalty for Kiki Mack, a 3-second penalty, a 2-second penalty also from Matt Webb. That is going to make a few issues because it's going to open up the door for his teammate JP McKinley, who is currently, keep in mind, currently leading the championship. A 2-point gap between Kiki Mack and JP McKinley. Chris Callahan being 24 points behind Kiki Mack and 26 points behind JP McKinley as well. These 3 races that we are undertaking tonight could quite easily make the championship even spicier going into the last round of the season. Finley Swarbrick still on the back of Colin Dunn, around half a second separating the 2 drivers. Chris Callahan as well, now very close to the back of JP McKinley. 0.2, 0.3 seconds. Seems like JP McKinley got faster out of turn 2 and turn 3. However, the gap is shrinking again through the chicane. No, it's not. It's sort of stagnating. Now it's extending JP McKinley, looking like he's got a better acceleration on his Megane versus Chris Callahan. Here we go down the straight. We'll now see which car has the higher top end. Chris Callahan gaining on JP McKinley. Could he be thinking about a move into this long right-hander? Not yet. Stays behind, but the gap stays very close. JP McKinley locking up quite heavily into that right-hander now as we come through the double left, which then goes downhill. Quite easy to go off the track here and onto the sand. We go through the downhill dip. Keep in mind, JP McKinley has a 1 second time penalty. Chris Callahan has none. Kiki Mack has a 3 second time penalty. And Gary Cooper also does not have a time penalty. Here we go down the straight. 0.2 seconds separating the two McGanns. Is Chris Callahan going to have a look? Not yet. Decides against it. The gap actually very much widens as they go through the first two corners. Now back to 0.4. Only 1 minute and 17 seconds now. Thank you, game. Very helpful. .4 seconds separating the two drivers. Kiki Mack 0.8 seconds behind Gary Cooper. That gap seems to be extending and then shrinking. Finley Swarbrick P10 still chasing Colin Dunn. Oh, almost collision there. We just caught the camera as it zoomed on the rear quarter of Colin Dunn. That was almost a very, very tight bit of collision. That wouldn't have been good for both drivers. Ex-pro driver versus AM driver. Very interesting fight to see. See the pace of the drivers against each other. Same car as well, both in the McGann. So it's literally just a case of setup and driver versus each other, not even the cars. I think both drivers were caught up in that earlier collision, so damage could come into it. 0.3 seconds separating the two as they go through the right-hander where that big collision did take place on lap 1. 2 minutes remaining on the clock. 10 laps down, possibly going to be a 12-lap race, this one. As Colin Dunn goes off the track, that gives Finley Swarbrick the perfect opportunity to get past him. The gap now extending quite nicely to 0.6 of a second. Carl Alden now on the back of Adam Viper. Adam Viper looking like he's got a bit of damage actually. Yeah, the rear of that BMW is quite bent up. Not sure what happened. Unsure if Adam Viper got caught up in that first lap collision. Not 100% sure. We would have to ask the drivers what happened, see if anyone on the top three saw anything happening. As Colin Dunn is now 0.9 seconds behind Finley Swarbrick. Could it be a case of missing the apex as they come out onto the straight? Could it be a case that Colin Dunn doesn't have the steam to catch up, but he is gaining as they come down the straight? 0.9, 0.8-ish as they come into the right-hander. 0.7 now. And cut that gap down by about 0.2 of a second. Here as they come through the double left into the downhill right. This is where Colin Dunn did lose the position. The gap extending to a second, so not as such. Chris Callahan on the back of JP McKinley, apparently a 1 minute 16 gap, which has been immediately shrunk down to 0.5 seconds. I think that's the best gap shrinkage we have seen of today. I'm going to keep making that joke because I find it funny. Kiki Mack still chasing down the back of Gary Cooper. Chris Callahan possibly going to be able to jump into P2. With the time penalties, that is going to be very interesting to see. Kiki Mack still on the back of Gary Cooper's car. I think the time has run out, so I believe this may be the final lap. If it is, we're coming around the last corner. As across the line now they come. Kiki Mac still trying to gain, but not enough steam as they come across the line. Gary Cooper taking the win. Kiki Mac provisional second. JP McKinley about to come through the line in third. Let's see what the penalties do. Chris Callahan jumping up to P3. Kiki Mac having had the gap to remain in P2. Alice Hughes P5. Matt Webb now coming across the line. Provisional P6 with Andrew Whitehead coming across now as well. Let's see if he jumps position. No, Andrew Whitehead staying P7. Adam Bent now coming through. Oh, last minute overtake. But Adam Bent taking P8. With Colin Dunn jumping both Finley Swarbrick and Adam Bent to take P8. Adam Bent being moved to 9th. Finley Swarbrick 10th. Carl Alden now coming across the line as we get the tail end of the drivers. 11th for Carl Alden, 12th for Adam Viper, 13th for Tobias Eriksson, 14th for McRae Williams, and I think 15th for Trev Hummer. That was an entertaining first race. We're going to now give the drivers a minute just to see if they come in and have a chat with me, which they are welcome to do. They're also welcome to turn down interviews if they want to. We'll see if anyone does come in. So, the overall results. Gary Cooper, P1, Kiki Mac follows in 2nd, Chris Callahan in 3rd, JP McKinley 4th, Alex Hughes in 5th, Matt Webb 6th, Andrew Whitehead came across in 7th, Colin Dunn in 8th, Adam Bent 9th, Finley Swarbrick 10th, Carl Alden 11th, Adam Viper in 12th, Tobias Eriksson 13th, McRae Williams 14th, 15th was Trev Hummer, with Ted Cooper retiring from the race. Race 1 was very interesting. Quite a few close battles around an unfamiliar track. We'll see when race 2 rolls around if the same level of excitement or more can be produced by the drivers, as we have Chris Callahan jump in. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
So P4 moving up to P3 on penalties.
Yeah, I couldn't really find a way past JP at all. He was running deep on a couple of the corners. I was just hoping it would sort of penalise him, really. I did the same, but managed to get rid of the slowdowns. Yeah, quite happy with that, actually.
In the title fight, 3rd at the minute before this race started. What do you think of your chances going into Donington?
I like the shorter version of Donington, so I'm just hoping I can incorporate that with the longer hairpin version. I forget what it's called. But I imagine it'll be wet, so we'll have to see. And Kiki likes the wet, so he'll probably pull ahead.
So obviously you are 26 points behind JP McKinley as it currently stands, and 24 behind Kiki Mac. Do you think that where is your target for the last race? Where do you want to finish in the championship apart from 1st, if that's not possible?
Well, I was runner-up last year in AM, so if I could match that, brilliant. If I could go even better, then amazing. But we'll work with 3rd for now and just go from there.
Exactly. Do you think you're going to be able to find a way past McKinley and the other drivers in the 2nd race?
I hope so. I believe there was a lot of contact in the first part of the first lap of that race. I haven't seen the footage, so I don't know. But it just depends on if there's carnage or not, I guess. It's always such a risk with random grid races.
Awesome, thanks for talking to me, Chris. We'll see how you get on in the 2nd race.
Thank you, no worries.
So that was Chris Callahan finishing in P3 this race. Driver currently in 3rd place in the standings. Runner-up last year, apparently in AM. So we'll see how he goes, see if he can match that or in fact beat it. I think the gap between himself and JP McKinley, also the gap between all top 3 drivers really, could be quite close as we go into Donington. As he said, carnage can happen, and carnage does quite heavily happen as well sometimes. It is going to be very interesting to see how the drivers go about it. Ted Cooper having retired as well from this race. We'll see how he goes. He got, I think, contact in T1. See, 18 drivers now in the lobby. Kev Straw having joined. So having a client issue for Alice Hughes. Now we are up to I think 19 driver roster. We'll be up to this second race. Yep, 19 drivers. Race 2 around Sportsland Sugo. I believe this is a random grid race. So it's going to be very interesting to drivers. Kev Straw having also joined us, missed one race. I know we've got 11 viewers as well. I'm very much touching records. I think we peaked at 14 so far this stream, so definitely going to do my stats very nicely. We should be underway with the second race soon. Just waiting for, I think, the majority of drivers to click the ready button. I think that's how it works. I'm not 100% sure how Project Cars 2 lobbies work. I just shout at racing. Oh, yep, here we are. Loading. Like how it doesn't give me the world record because technically I don't have a car. Sad. So here we come into race 2 around Sportsland Sugo. You can see on the track map the elevation of the circuit. I always do like the Project Cars 2 track map. Very nice overhead picture as well. Cars 2 is having time, I believe. There we go. So the grid is Trev Hummer in first, JP McKinley second, Adam Viper third, Chris Callahan fourth, Kev Straw fifth, McRae Williams sixth, Ted Cooper seventh, Finley Swarbrick eighth, Carl Alden ninth, Colin Dunn 10th, 11th Matt Webb, Byron Zimmerman 12th, 13th Tobias Eriksson, 14th Gary Cooper, 15th Kiki Mack, 16th Adam Bent, 17th Andrew Whitehead, and 18th Alice Hughes. So JP McKinley and Chris Callahan starting quite high up. Kiki Mack currently P2 in the championship as last round, starting down in P15. This could be very interesting for the drivers. So here we go, getting ready now. Two, one, and we're away as the LOD removes itself. We're going to watch Kev Straw. Here as we all come around to turn 1, the BMW being rear-wheel drive gets a much better start as there is a massive pack into the first corner. Cole Alden gets pushed off. But as it currently stands, it all looks quite clean. Finley Swarbrick making moves around the outside of Ted Cooper. Goes off track, and there's contact between the two cars. Here, Finley Swarbrick now going even more off track. Kev Straw also going quite off, as there is a massive crash behind. Again, a huge crash. Andrew Whitehead, Finley Swarbrick Byron Zimmerman. All ending up very much in the gravel. Not sure what caused that. We just caught the rear end of it. You now see the drivers coming down to the long right-hander. Very nice camera. Thank you for that, Project Cars. The two Cooper Motorsport vehicles having contact. Matt Webb going off. Also looked like Ted Cooper went off as well. That didn't look 100% above board. It seemed like the car of Matt Webb got quite heavily squeezed off, which led to the contact. We're going 2-3 wide through the last corner. Alan Bent going off. Kev Straw taking a spin as well. Is he going to catch the wall? Yes, he is. As we still have quite a large car train coming into the first corner on lap 2. Colin Dunn against Alice Hughes. Tobias Eriksson against Adam Bent, who gets about quite out. Also, there is a very heavily damaged Cooper Motorsport car behind as well. I think that's Ted Cooper. As JP McKinley has gone into first place. Chris Callahan follows with Trev Hummer in third now, dropping down 2 positions. Fourth is McRae Williams. Fifth is Gary Cooper. 6th is JP McKinley. 7th is Cole Alden. 8th is Colin Dunn. 9th is Adam Viper. 10th is Alice Hughes. 11th is Tobias Eriksson. 12th, Adam Bent. 13th, Ted Cooper. 14th, Finley Swarbrick. 15th, Byron Zimmerman. 16th, Matt Webb. 17th, Kev Straw. And 18th, Andrew Whitehead, who is in the pit lane. Looked like he might have gotten quite a lot of damage there. He might also be down the lap as well, as the front 2 cars of JP McKinley and Chris Callahan are coming up to the start-finish line. To start lap 3, 11 laps last race. Alice Hughes with Adam Viper, Tobias Eriksson, and Adam Bent behind. Adam Bent quite on the back of that blue Swedish Megane of Tobias Eriksson. Is he going to make an attempt into turn 1? He has a look down the inside. The move gets made quite nicely. Tobias Eriksson going around a long way on both corners. Now Adam Bent is attacking the back of Adam Viper. The front end is a bit bent up as well, so I'm not sure if... Okay, that's very much going to bend up the front end. Adam Viper having slingshotted off. Looks like a retirement for him. As Chris Callahan has taken a 1-second penalty, possibly for extending track limits. JP McKinley also fighting McRae Williams here. 0.3 second gap, 0.2 now. This is for P5, McGann versus McGann. Second place in the championship versus P7 in the championship. Let's see what the 2 drivers can pull off for a battle here. Gary Cooper also within touching distance as well, 0.9 seconds, sub 1 second. Andrew Whitehead moving out the way for blue flags. JP McKinley diving down the inside, and there's contact between the 2. JP McKinley having cut the corner quite heavily there. Looked like a late dive down the inside coming across. Gives the position back to McRae Williams. Is the right thing to do there. It looks like both drivers might have damage. JP McKinley maybe having more on the front end of the McGann as he came into contact with the door of McRae Williams. As we now come onto the straight, McRae Williams, Kiki Mack going off track. That could be a penalty. Cole Alden also following behind, 0.8. As we look back up front, and Chris Callahan still fighting on the rear of JP McKinley, 0.6 seconds separate the 2, with 0.2 seconds separating him from Gary Cooper. Very nice. Cheeky Max still on the back of McRae Williams, getting the inside line up through the last corner. Here we go, it's a drag race down the the start-finish line. Cheeky Mac possibly going to have the inside line, getting a little bit of a squeeze from McRae Williams. Inside line for the Celtic Romance number 77 vehicle. Gets past now. See what that means for McRae Williams, as Carl Alden looks like has a bit of a trouble. Yeah, well done mate. With Colin Dunn having to go deep into the corner to avoid the back of Alice Hughes' car. Tobias Eriksson also gaining on Trev Hummer, the driver who did start in the lead, now down to P10. With Finley Swarbrick also behind, getting ready to pounce on every opportunity that he can. Did have a look down the inside, however Tobias Eriksson did shut the door. Goes wide as well through onto the long straight. And there's contact as well, the front of Tobias Eriksson just touching the rear of Trev Hummer. Loses 2 positions off of that, I believe. Yep, loses out to Finley and Byron. Carl Alden now chasing the rear of McRae Williams. 0.8 seconds separating the 2 drivers from each other. Swarbrick trying down the inside of Trev Hummer. Looks like the move gets made. We'll see who gets a better grip going down towards the left-hander. That is ahead. Does Finley Swarbrick? Because there's a lock-up from one of the 2 cars. I think that was from the BMW. As we quickly switch back to the battle for the lead. Chris Callahan very close to the rear of JP McKinley. 0.2 of a second separating the 2 drivers. It's very easy here, especially with the different braking lines into the last corner, to have a collision. They now come up to the start finish straight. Could Chris Callahan take the lead? Gary Cooper also having a 2-second time penalty, with further down the grid Trev Hummer, Byron Zimmerman both having a 1 second, with Tobias Eriksson having a 2 second, as JP McKinley goes wide, giving Chris Callahan the lead. As long as JP McKinley keeps out of trouble and keeps him in a second of Chris Callahan without penalties himself, he will take the win. Now, sometimes when you're pushing to catch the car in front, it's easier said than done. Go on to spray. Gary Cooper also very much on the rear of JP McKinley. A bit further down the grid, we have Alice Hughes under attack from Colin Dunn. We also have Finley Swarbrick fighting Adam Ben. 0.3 separating the 2 drivers. As we come up to the last corner, Trev Hummer and Byron Zimmerman also having the battle behind for P11. They come through the last corner, 2 wide. 2 wide is safe. We did see 3 wide, which did lead to Kev Straw having a collision with the wall. as Byron Zimmerman makes the move up into P11. Up in front as well, JP McKinley having dropped to around a second. Gap between himself and Chris Callahan. That's not what he wanted. With 4 minutes remaining, around 3 laps to go. 3 or 2 laps around there, depending on what happens. Finley Swarbrick still fighting on the rear of Adam Bent. Half a second separating the two drivers. Ted Cooper having also moved up to P14. These random grid races, after a while, they do spread out, but it does create some very entertaining racing. Especially here, we can see this battle. Swarbrick against Bent. Two McGanns, two very good drivers in my opinion as well. Consistent mid-pack. Finley Swarbrick also having gotten, I think, his first podium in the series at Brands Hatch. Both drivers do have speed and they are quite evenly matched here so far. 2 minutes, 56 seconds remaining, basically 3 minutes left to go as Finley Swarbrick tries the inside. Adam Bent, very stonewall defence of the inside line. Swarbrick tries again, but doesn't quite make it. An uphill left-hander, quite easy to lock the brakes on, it seems. Chicane, smack the curbs, sausage curbs you want to be a bit more careful with, but these cars can take a bit of curb. Come onto the straight, 0.2 seconds separating them, not even 0.2 now, 0.1 separating the two drivers. They are really nose to tail here as we come up to this fast right-hander at the end of the straight. Adam Bent staying in front just, there is contact between the two. Swarbrick looked like he couldn't slow the car down in time, had to use the rear end of Adam Bent as a brake. Ooh, maybe a bit more contact there as well. Zimmerman also starting to join the fight behind two. Half a second, 0.3 separating him and Finley Swarbrick. So this is a 3-car battle now for P8. Chris Callahan will be dropping down to second by the look of it, depending if his timing stays the same as these cars come through a line of 1 minute and 25 remaining. So possibly one more lap after this for the race leaders, but this battle is being very intense. 3 McGanns all fighting each other, 3 drivers, possibly 3 different setups. So many factors can quite easily determine the outcome of a battle, but the most important one, regardless of the car and the setup, is obviously the driver. But here we go, Finley Swarbrick looking up the inside again, the door gets shut once more, now under attack from Zimmerman, who looks like he has to take evasive action, already moving out to the outside and slots back in for the slipstream. Looks like Finley Swarbrick might have the inside. He is side by side with Adam Bent as they come into the corner. Looks like a bit of side-on-side contact. Both drivers, however, do get through unscathed. Finley Swarbrick moving up into P9. Adam Bent taking a little excursion off the track there. I don't think enough to trigger a penalty. A very close battle between these 3 drivers. So here we are coming on to the final lap. Currently in the top 3 is Chris Callahan, JP McKinley and Gary Cooper. Adam Bent goes up the inside. Oh, but Byron Zimmerman makes up 2 positions. We were almost 3 wide there. Adam Bent now losing out to both drivers. Oh, Swarbrick trying up the inside, makes it, but a little bit of contact as there's a stricken McRae Williams off track as well. Oh, Zimmerman taking a bit of a spin, the car doesn't go round, almost very close to collecting the rear of Adam Bent. little further up the grid, Carl Alden chasing down the rear of Colin Dunn. However, at the end, it is all said and done as across the line comes Chris Callahan. He will be losing out the lead to JP McKinley because of penalties. Across the line, take the race win, however, being dropped down to second place by JP McKinley. Gary Cooper coming in third. Kiki Mack across the line in P4, but this could change. Well, I don't believe it's going to. What a second race. And the rest of the drivers are now coming across the line. Three-car battle, Finley Swarbrick, Adam Bent and Byron Zimmerman now coming across. Does Adam Bent jump a position? No, he doesn't. Trev Hummer now coming across the line as well, as we see the rest of the drivers come across. So the classification after that race, JP McKinley in the lead for the win, Chris Callahan in second, Gary Cooper third, Kiki Mack fourth, in fifth with Alice Hughes, sixth Carl Alden, seventh Colin Dunn, eighth Finley Swarbrick, ninth Adam Bent, in 10th was Byron Zimmerman, 11th Trev Hummer, 12th Tobias Eriksson, 13th Matt Webb, 14th Ted Cooper, 15th Andrew Whitehead, 16th Kev Straw, 17th McRae Williams and 18th Adam Viper. That has been the full classification for race 2. We will now see if any of the drivers want to come in and have a chat with me. So we'll be coming up soon to race 3, the final race of the evening. As we have JP McKinley and Chris Callahan come in. JP McKinley having taken the win. I just read the classification, I should know. So, JP, the penalty for Chris Callahan. Were you going to catch him if you had a few more laps, or was it just prey on the penalty?
There was no chance of me beating Chris that race. I don't know what it is, but I just this track doesn't seem to be one of my best tracks. But the boys are definitely a lot faster than me at this track. Chris and Kiki and all the rest. I was definitely, for me to get that win, it was just down to the wire. I was just relying on the penalty after I made the mistake into turn 1.
And currently leading the championship. At the end of the last round, you were separated by your teammate by only 2 points. Is that going to put a lot of pressure on you?
Well, the thing with me and Kiki is it doesn't really matter what car or what track we're at. We're always pretty much neck and neck. So if I'm racing Kiki, the pressure's going to be on no matter what. Like, the pressure's going to be on him to beat me, and the pressure's going to be on me to beat him. So, like, I'm quite amazed that I've been able to find someone that no matter what car you're in, they were pretty much the exact same, talent-wise, which is great. We push each other.
Kiki started quite low down the grid this race, which I'm guessing...
I definitely lucked out with that. I think he started 15th.
I think it was either 14th or 15th, yeah, so he had a lot of work to do to get up, which maybe might mean that if he started higher up, he might have gotten some more points this race.
Oh, yeah, he definitely would have. I think Gaz Cooper had a time penalty as well, so I think if Kiki had been further up the grid, he would have been that bit closer to Gaz, and then Kiki would have been able to snatch third, which is but this is how it works out. One
more to go.
One to go. Oh God.
Now, Chris, you did move up to the lead, but I think you had a 1 second time penalty.
Yeah, it's really on in the race, and at first I thought, okay, I'll probably just sit behind JP now. I don't think I can get past. Then I did. I just found a burst of speed and a bit of consistency. That's what I seem to lack, is just consistency with the speed. And I think it's the last lap. I just got a bit rattled by a back marker who was, I don't know why, moving over on a straight. I really don't know why. But managed to sort of keep it calm. But it just wasn't enough time for me to build a gap. I could possibly lap a bit faster than JP, but not enough to build the second gap. And I knew that Gary behind, he had a 4-second penalty, so
Yeah, I think it was the
Just,
second to last lap. You actually did have that second over JP, and it just seemed to come down in the last lap.
yeah, pretty much. It was. I just think just the back marker on sort of ruled me, but yeah, missed out. I think it was 2/10 in the end. I missed out by because of another penalty.
I think it was even less than that. I think because when I crossed the line, it was 0.9. I was behind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I said. It went up to 0.7, 0.8. I was like 0.9. I'm like, come on, we're on the grid slots now. Come on, go to 1. Come on, and it just didn't. And I was like, no. So,
There's always a third race. You might even still get a win.
hopefully, let's see how qualifying goes. I think Kiki's even faster, so I don't know.
Oh.
So
But yeah.
that was. Thank you for coming and talking to me, guys. That was Chris Callahan and JP McKinley, first and second. We'll see if they can match it or better. Oh, I don't think JP can probably do better than first. There's no 0th position.
Cool. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
So we'll soon be moving on to the thingy. One minute. The qualifying for race 3. Sportsland Sugo, we did estimate was going to give us some entertaining racing, and it hasn't disappointed. Definitely going to be a very good race on the on this final round. So I just open up a new box of Jaffa cakes. I need my sugar. So we'll have another 15-minute qualifying in which I will mostly stay silent to give my voice a break. So we'll jump into qualifying soon, I think. So, race 3, the race of the qualifying. Drivers have now had half an hour of race practice on the track as well. Hopefully for some drivers this means that their pace will go up. I know for me at least, when I do racing, especially multi-stage racing, I get faster over time. We go, the countdown to load into the session. So here we are, 18 cars on the grid. We get a nice little view of some tarmac there. Very nice. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. The first crash, I think, maybe came down to McRae Williams. However, I only caught the rear end of it. Crash in the second race, it seemed to be possibly even a ping issue, but I'm not 100%. We'll probably see on the replays, I'll probably have a note for next race on what happened. But right now it seems a bit in the middle on what happened, as I only caught the rear end of both crashes. Oh, and there's some contact. This is qualifying. I believe the penalty system does work with contact. I know mainly it's about track limits. Post-race penalties, however, can come in. Obviously, incidents are reported and looked at by the league admins, in which then a decision is made based on all the evidence they get. So normally, if you do cause a big collision, which wipes drivers out, ruins people's races, etc., etc., there will be some form of penalty applied, be it in race or post-race. As the first laps are now coming through, Kiki Mack currently in P1 with a 125.2. Alice Hughes second, 126.2. JP McKinley jumping up to the lead spot at the minute with a 125.102. Oh, sorry about that. It's a bit of absence. I had to go and get another bottle of drink. Oh, now it's had enough action that my throat actually hurts, which is very surprising. Some nights I manage to shout the exact same amount and not have any issues, and then other nights my throat just ejects. Yeah, exactly. As I said, the admins are very good at, especially in the streams as well. They do, I think, as well, watch back both my stream and the pro stream as well. That they will then look for collisions, and if they see it, they'll obviously go back. If someone lodges a complaint, they'll watch it. There'll always be some form of administration for crashes. Obviously, some crashes maybe can be racing incidents. I'm not sure about the first two. Admin discretion, once they look at all the replays they can find, all the angles that they can see, etc., etc. It all comes down to admin decision. But for collision where someone is at fault, it's very hard to have it fly under the radar. I haven't seen it yet myself, and I can say that the admins are very good at finding where the crashes happened and making sure that if there is any penalties to be given out, that they are given out. So the top three at this current minute in time is Kiki Mack, followed by JP McKinley and Gary Cooper. Chris Callahan in P4. Really on the timing screen. Colin Dunn P5. Finley Swarbrick P6. 7th is Trev Hummer. 8th Alice Hughes. 9th Andrew Whitehead. 10th Adam Bent. 11th Byron Zimmerman. 12th Matt Webb, 13th McRae Williams, 14th Adam Viper, 15th Carl Alden, 16th Tobias Eriksson, 17th Kev Straw, and 18th Ted Cooper. That is the provisional standings at this current moment in time. However, with just under 6 minutes remaining, we could see some shift in the provisional standings for the final grid order as we come into the last race. So in approximately 6 or 7 minutes time, depending on how quick we go from quali to race. Yes, this is the penultimate round of the series. The championship decider will be the next round, which will be next Sunday at Donington GP circuit. Where the top three drivers of JP McKinley, Kiki Mack and Chris Callahan will be fighting it out for the title this year. Obviously more fights will be going on down the grid as well. The fight for P6 between Matt Webb and McRae Williams, both drivers tied on 140 points. Finley Swarbrick being P5 in the championship with 148. Even down to P10 and P9. Alice Hughes versus Adam Bent at this current minute in time. 115 points for Alice Hughes against 110 for Adam Bent. Many battles do occur in this series, on track and also in the driver's standings. So there's one more 15-minute race remaining. Chris Callahan being pushed out of P5 by Finley Swarbrick, who at this current minute in time has taken provisional P4. Not much of a gap separating the two drivers on quali. The unhappy Ghosted Celtic Bromance car there as well on the entrance to the final two corners. As we come under the Falcon-Tyre Bridge, Chris Callahan stays P5. Finley Swarbrick stays in P4. Andrew Whitehead, the very brightly coloured Boosted Motorsport BMW, currently in P9. We'll see if he can improve as he comes across the line. Doesn't improve from P9 at this current moment in time. Trev Hummer has damage on the front of his BMW. You can see the bonnet is quite badly bent up on the front left side. Alex Hughes having also moved up to P4 now. Finley Swarbrick pushed down to P5. They should have one more lap after this. To try and get a fast time. So yeah, the drivers are coming across the line now. We'll have one more lap. Finley Swarbrick goes up to P4, overtaking Alice Hughes again, as there's a collision between a Cooper Motorsports vehicle and Trev Hummer. Unsure what caused that. Some drivers are already pulling over to pit in and finish their runs. It looks like Finley Swarbrick is staying out at this current minute in time. Actually having to overtake Kev Straw. They're almost battling, really. In quali, that's not going to do both of their times any good. There's only a few drivers left out. Finley Swarbrick, Kev Straw, Tobias Eriksson and McRae Williams, who has finished qualifying. Only Finley Swarbrick and Kev Straw, who are currently out on track to finish qualifying. And they are coming across the line. Will Finley Swarbrick make up a position here? Will he improve his time? And no! Stays in P4 though, which is lucky. Oh, hello, Boosted Motorsport car. So, the classification for the final race. Keegan Mack and JP McKinley take the front row of the grid. Gary Cooper in P3. Finley Swarbrick in 4th. Alice Hughes 5th. Chris Callahan 6th. Colin Dunn in 7th. 8th is Trev Hummer. 9th is Andrew Whitehead. 10th is Byron Zimmerman. 11th is Matt Webb. 12th is Adam Bent. 13th McRae Williams. 14th Carl Alden. 15th Adam Bifer. 16th Tobias Eriksson. And 17th Kev Straw. I'm sure next season as well, based on the driving of some of the top drivers in this server, we'll see a few drivers move up to the pro category. Obviously a stream that isn't run by me, it's run by the second commentator for the series, King Kodiak. And if I remember, which I should do, I'll put a link to his YouTube channel in the description of the replay. And here we go, we are now on the grid. Celtic Bromance front row. Picture that, because I have no idea. And here we are, getting ready now for the lights to come on, the race to be underway. 2, 1, and we're away. The BMW's obviously the master of launching due to the fact they're rear-wheel drive as we come down. Are we going to get cleanly through turn 1 this race? A lot of drivers having a lot of space being given. Some drivers also going quite slowly around the first corner. Looks like we get away cleanly as we watch Finley Swarbrick. JP McKinley having dropped down 2 positions off of the start in the first corners. With Gary Cooper, 2 drivers go off behind. That was Colin Dunn and Adam Bent. No, it's Byron Zimmerman. Not sure what happened there. I just got it on the rear of the camera. As we now come down the long straight. JP McKinley on the back of Finley Swarbrick. Gary Cooper in front with JP McKinley currently leading the pack as we come around the final few corners to finish lap 1. As one of the Cooper Motorsport cars dives off the circuit. Not sure what happened there. I just caught the car going off the track. He loses some positions, which allows Finley Swarbrick to move up to second. Actually looking on the back of the Celtic Bromance machine of JP McKinley. Sorry, Keegan Max. JP McKinley trying up the inside. There seems to be some ping as there's a little bit of contact which sends Finley Swarbrick off. Cuts the corner. That Ted Cooper Motorsports car is having a lot of lag, actually. Yeah, that Cooper Motorsports car's out as there's a collision. Adam Bent going round. Chris Callahan getting rolled. That might be one, that will be one for the admin. Look, as there's another crash. Adam Viper's round. A few cars having to take evasive action. McRae Williams stopped on circuit. There's Andrew Whitehead, currently P4. Under attack from Matt Webb behind, and Finley Swarbrick ahead. He's trying to chase down. Finley Swarbrick currently P3. Could be a free car battle for the podium. Byron Zuluan chasing down Carl Alden. The front bumper of that McGann wanting to leave and possibly go into orbit. As Byron Zimmerman retires out of the race. Andrew Whitehead now under attack from Matt Webb. A 1 second penalty already for Kiki Mack. With Finley Swarbrick having a 2 second penalty as well. This could make life very interesting for the podium once they get applied. Kev Straw almost under attack by 2 McGanns, McRae William and Chris Callahan. Chris Callahan having been on the podium twice this race, however having a collision a lap ago, which has put him down to E14. As he goes up the inside of McRae Williams. Matt Webb still attacking the BMW of Andrew Whitehead. However, Alice Hughes is also barreling up behind. The thing about battling is you want to make sure you get it done quickly, because you fighting another driver is going to make it a lot easier for the driver behind to catch up, because you will be losing speed fighting. It could be thousandths of a second, it could be tenths of a second that you lose fighting. It depends on the circuit and the cars, as well as the drivers. Kev Straw has gone off. We just caught the front of that. Colin Dunn now chasing the rear of McRae Williams. McGann versus McGann with another McGann ahead and the BMW behind. And trying up the inside. Oh, that was a bit touchy there from McRae Williams. Not sure if there was contact, but it seemed like a late defence. As we switch back to the fight, Matt Webb versus Andrew Whitehead now versus Alice Hughes as well. 3-car battle for P4. Finley Swarbrick having gotten away quite quickly with the front of the pack, a nice little gap forming. Is Matt Webb going to try down the inside this time round into turn 1? We're not sure. Stays behind for the minute. I thought a challenge was definitely in order. Gary Cooper looking like, I think it was Ted Cooper who had the ping issues earlier on. He has retired, I believe, as well. Possibly an internet error. The Alden against Chris Callahan. Well, we almost do. Callahan getting a move up the inside. Carl Alden can come back from this as they go through the last corner. The gap almost stagnating, really. With Craig Williams up the rear of Carl Alden. Into T1, it's 3 wide almost as we come into the first corner. 2 wide between McRae Williams and Colin Dunn. These two have been fighting for the first half of this race. We'll see about the second half. Matt Webb still looking up as Gary Cooper pings off the track again. I think there's definitely an internet ping issue happening there. On the update, Kiki Mack, 2 seconds. Doodle Webb, Finley Swarbrick, 2 seconds. Matt Webb, Alex Hughes, both 2 seconds. Adam Bent, a second. Carl Alden, 2 seconds. 20 seconds for McRae Williams. 2 seconds for Adam Viper. Still sticking with this 3-car battle. You can quite clearly see that the gaps are very close now as Alice Hughes right on the bumper of Matt Webb. But JP McKinley having dropped down to P3. Finley Swarbrick ahead, a 2-second gap he needs between himself and JP McKinley. And it looks like he might get it as well. He may finish in second place this race with 4 minutes 40 seconds remaining. As Andrew Whitehead now also on the back of JP McKinley. The 3-car battle may be becoming a 4. There's a small gap having formed between the McGann of JP McKinley. In reality, the 4-car battle is a 4-car battle. Gary Cooper now joining in as well. 3 McGanns, 1 BMW. As Alice Hughes goes up the inside of Matt Webb, that causes Gary Cooper to go off. No contact, however the battle did just widen out. As there was the challenge, it wasn't a late challenge up the inside either. Matt Webb takes to the sand as he gets a little bit squeezed around the outside of the second to last corner. Both drivers having a 2-second penalty, which means that it is just down to their driving. We have 3 minutes 15 seconds remaining. Top 3 is still Kiki Mack, Finley Swarbrick and JP McKinley. Andrew Whitehead P4, Alice Hughes, who we're currently watching, in 5th. Matt Webb in 6th, 7th is Gary Cooper, 8th Tobias Eriksson, 9th Chris Callahan, 10th Colin Dunn, 11th Adam Bent, 12th Carl Alden, 13th Adam Viper, 14th Trev Hummer, 15th Kev Straw, and 16th in the pits is McRae Williams, who has a 20-second time penalty as it currently stands. Alice Hughes now has been opened up onto the back of the BMW of Andrew Whitehead. The 2-second gap that Finley Swarbrick needing, I think, having actually been cut down now. Yes, 1.7 seconds. So as it currently stands, JP McKinley will be finishing in P2, so it'll be a 1-2 for the Celtic Bromance team, with 1 minute 39 seconds remaining, so we'll have this lap and next lap left. Williams getting the blue flag for Finley Swarbrick. Also the blue flag for JP McKinley. As around the final corner for the second to last time comes our leader Kiki Mack. As it currently stands, he will be taking the race win. Now move on to the final lap. Kiki Mack in the lead. Finley Swarbrick behind in second place. JP McKinley following in third place. We'll be moving up to second if he doesn't get a time penalty. Finley Swarbrick now also having a 3-second penalty. Andrew Whitehead could retain P4 here, as the two cars behind do have penalties. 2 seconds each. As I last recall, we can quickly check. 2 seconds and 5 seconds. Colin Dunn on the back of Tobias Eriksson, P9 and P10. As around the final corner for the last time tonight, Kiki Mack coming under the Falcon Tyre Bridge. I don't know if it's a bridge. And across the line to take the victory in race 3 tonight. Strong, consistent driving from him for the entire event led to a win. JP McKinley jumping up to P2 with Finley Swarbrick P3. Andrew Whitehead finishing in 4th with Alice Hughes 5th. Gary Cooper moving up to 5th with Matt Webb dropping down to 7th. Chris Callahan looks like he's going to be finishing in 8th place today. As they come across the line. That was our final race of the season. Final race of the season and final race of the evening. Not season, we've got one more race to do. So we're going to wait and see who joins me in the voice channel, but we do have the final classification. Kiki Mack taking the win, JP McKinley finishing 2nd, Finley Swarbrick 3rd, 4th Andrew Whitehead, 5th Alice Hughes, 6th Gary Cooper, 7th Matt Webb, 8th Chris Callahan, 9th Tobias Eriksson, 10th Colin Dunn, 11th Carl Alden, 12th Kev Straw, 13th Trev Hummer, 14th Adam Bent, and 15th McRae Williams. And Kiki Mac has joined us. Hello, Kiki. Strong drive, quite a big gap between you and Billy Swarbrick.
Yeah, I heard over the Discord there's a bit of a collision between JP and Finley at one point, which helped push that gap, but I felt pretty comfortable at the front for most of the race then.
And you had some penalties as well. Did you just want to sort of push and make sure that you could finish ahead?
Yeah, he had 1 second and Finley had 3, so it was pretty safe. It was more scary when JP was in second and was close to me, but I knew that I was generally faster through the other races and qualifying this weekend, so I was confident I could just pull that gap.
And as I have asked everybody else this race, this stream, how do you think your chances are going into Donington for the last round of the season?
It's a very similar track to Sugo, to be fair, so hopefully it should go pretty well. It's quite a fast-flowing track, like lots of third, fourth gear corners. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Donington. I like it a lot.
And do you think you're going to be putting the pressure on JP? He did say earlier that there was some pressure. Do you want to sort of build on that?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what we do in there. Hoping I can take the championship at Donington. I don't think it's anyone's game now, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay, thank you, Kiki. JP coming through second place after penalties. What was that contact about? I did catch it, but you did cede the position back. Was it just a mistake?
Which one?
I call it. I think it was T2.
Yeah, I think Chris was behind me and Finley at that point, and Chris said it was neck code, because there was no contact on my side. But I think later on in the race, going down into the hairpin, on my screen, Finley bumped my back end, but on his screen, he didn't have anything. So I guess it's just a bad night for internet.
Yeah, I've seen a few drivers have a bit of internet troubles around the track, a bit of teleporting going here and there.
Yeah.
The joys of Project Cast.
Sure. So it was good racing though. I enjoyed racing with Finley, and I enjoyed all my races tonight with Chris in the first 2 races, and yeah, it was clean when we all had decent connections, so I have no complaints.
Awesome.
And congratulations to my good old buddy Kiki for keeping the pressure up.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, JP. Finley, I think this is your second time on the podium and second time speaking to me?
Well, tonight I had a few. I think I got 2 wins at Hockenheim. No, Watkins Glen. So I think I might have got 1 at Hockenheim. I had to miss a couple rounds, unfortunately, work-related stuff, which is always a shame. But back again just to try and disrupt the Celtic bromance in their title chase.
Which you were running P2 for a lot of race. JP very much on the rear of your car.
Yes, yeah, massively. Unfortunately, the track limits in this game, especially at this track, are questionable to say the least. I maybe put, I don't know, maybe a millimetre of my tyre wide, and it's like, would you like a 2-second penalty? Good. So it is what it is. I have to say I enjoy racing with the Celtic bromance. Whenever us 3 are in a pack together, it's always sort of like nail biting, clean racing. So I can't complain with those guys.
And even though you are, I think, you're 5th in the championship at the minute, do you think you're going to continue to disrupt JP and Kiki at Donington next week?
Oh yeah, for sure. Donington's probably one of my more lapped tracks in the calendar, which I'm sure is good news for JP and Kiki. But it's one of those things. It's throughout the whole season. I mean, us 3 have probably been the closest, I'd say, out of everyone here. So I'm looking forward to going to the final round against them.
Next week, final round. The championship, I think, can be clinched by the top at this point. So definitely going to be some pressure there. Also, you know, Finley, you want to go and disrupt him a little bit. Make sure that the racing's close.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thank you. And that's where I'm going to end the stream for tonight. So from me and the top 3 of last race, that's been round 7 at Sugo. And we'll see you next week for Donington. Goodbye.